Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokce Capital.
Now before I begin, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications. Imagine you're looking at a beautiful parcel of vacant land, but you think that at $50,000 it's a little bit overpriced. Yet, when you go to check the sales comps, you can't find any. How do you find the estimated market value? Well, you may want to order an appraisal. And in this video, we're going to go over the top 5 things you should know about appraisals for vacant land. And if you're wondering how an appraiser would be able to estimate market value without sales comps, one of the pointers in this video will go over some of the valuation methods they use in the absence of comps. But first, what is a land appraisal? Well, at a high level, an appraisal is the process by which a third-party professional develops an opinion on the value of a property. And the reason the third party's opinion is given such a high weight is because appraisers are certified professionals with a lot of experience in valuing real estate. And thus, many parties involved in a real estate transaction, such as a lender or a title company, respect their opinion based on their experience and credentials. So if an appraisal is just an opinion on the value of land, what are the advantages of getting one done? First of all, it can help you make a decision about whether to move forward with the purchase of a property at a set price. Particularly in the vacant land space, as many of you may have already experienced, it can be difficult to try and determine what the market value of a property is, especially when there are few comps. I've seen many landowners rely on the assessor's valuation as their estimation of market value, but the assessor's valuation is often not fully representative of the true market value. So an appraisal will let you make a more informed decision about the price at which a property should be listed or bought. But by far the biggest reason that real estate purchasers order appraisals is because it's required by their lender or their insurance company. In some circumstances, you may want to have an appraisal done as you plan for the transition of your assets because it can help make settling your estate easier. And finally, landowners will often have an appraisal done if they are trying to dispute the taxable value on their property in order to make a case that their property taxes should be lowered. So how does an appraiser value vacant land, and why is their opinion considered more accurate than the county assessors? Usually an appraiser will take a look at local sales comps and come up with an estimate of market based on how properties have been trading recently, but they will also make adjustments based on a variety of factors that differentiates the property in question from the comps. And that part of the appraisal is really where the appraiser's expertise and knowledge comes in. Adjustments are more of an art than a science, and professional appraisers have the advantage of having seen and gone through the process on numerous properties, and so have a sense of how various attributes of a property can either raise or lower the price that someone may be willing to pay for it compared to another property. And if you think that this sounds pretty easy, keep in mind that the number of different attributes that an appraiser looks at when making adjustments is very long, and again relies a lot on an appraiser's experience determining how much a given attribute can raise or lower a property's market value compared to a property that is similar in most other ways. But a brief list of some of the adjustments that an appraiser will look at when determining the market value on a property include access, so whether the property has both legal and physical access, and then the condition of the access ways, topography, size and shape of the property, and how this will affect buildability, whether the property has any improvements, and this doesn't just mean a home, but things like a driveway, a shed, even an area of the property that's already been cleared and prepared for construction may be considered an improvement. Soil condition, especially if you are looking at a property that has agriculture as its highest and best use. Land use and zoning, and what the allowable uses are on the property. Whether the property is in a special hazard flood zone or has wetlands on or near it. And what utilities are already available at the lot, and how expensive it may be to bring any non-existent utilities to the location. But let's go back to our opening example. What if there are no sales comparables within a reasonable radius of the property? How does an appraiser value a property in these circumstances? Well, without sufficient sales comparables, the appraiser can do two things. One, they can take sales comparables from much further away and then make adjustments based on the different locations. Or they can use one of two different methods as a backup in determining market value. And these backup methods include a residual analysis, which is a valuation process that looks at the property, determines what kind of improvement would be the highest and best use on that vacant land, and then tries to estimate, 1, how much you could sell that improvement for if you were to develop it, and 2, what the estimated cost to build that improvement would be. And the difference between these two numbers would be the proposed market value of the vacant land. The other backup method is to use an income approach, which is somewhat similar, but the appraiser will again determine what kind of improvement will be the highest and best use on the vacant land in question. The appraiser will then try to estimate how much cash flow that development will be able to realize. So for example, if the highest and best use is an apartment building, the appraiser would try to estimate how many apartments will be in that apartment building and how much rent each apartment will earn, minus any operating costs. After the appraiser comes up with an estimate on the net cash flow from the improvement, they will determine how much an investor would pay in the market for such cash flow. As you can see, these two backup methods involve a lot more guesswork, so they rely even more on an appraiser's experience in trying to produce a market value. Appraising real estate, especially vacant land, is a bit more of an art than a science and relies very much on the skill and experience of the appraiser in question. So if you either are required to have an appraisal done, or you decide that you want one done to help in your decision-making process, make sure that you hire a skilled appraiser and one who has a lot of experience with vacant land in particular. This way you know that the person whose opinion you will be relying on to make a major decision has a lot of experience and knowledge on precisely the kind of parcel that you are looking at purchasing. So do you have any thoughts or stories on appraisals? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. We'll make you a land due diligence expert in just 7 days. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down properties at gokcecapital.com/listings. Finally, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. You can email, call, or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So thank you for listening, and more to come.